Welcome back. We have Psalm 71 before us now, and even though there's no heading, it seems very likely that this is another psalm of David, perhaps written by him in his old age. Even though there's no specific verse that talks about the psalmist being old, there is a lot of reference to, "Do not forsake me, Lord, when I am old." So it kind of looks back, and there are a lot of familiar subjects in this psalm that we've seen in a lot of David's previous psalms. So it has kind of the feeling of looking back on God's deliverance, particularly when we get to a point where in the psalm where he talks about, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell the next generation about your righteousness, about your power, and everything that you have done for me. Since my youth, O God, you have taught me. So that's another one, not direct, but seems to indicate that this is the prayer of an older Christian. And for that reason, it's a good prayer for any older Christian to pray to God. And maybe if you are that older Christian, if you're old enough, maybe you've started to wonder or ask the question, why am I still here, God? What's your purpose for me? And what better purpose can you find than what the psalmist writes about here? I will tell the next generation. Uh, Even if you feel there's nothing more that you can do, you can always tell about the good things that God has done for you and for all people through Jesus. The other thing that I want to point out before I get into reading the psalm is an interesting verse, 7. I have become like a portent to many, but you are my strong refuge. Because of where this verse is in the psalm, the question goes one of two ways. Is he talking about, is that in a negative manner? Is he a portent to many? Do people look at him and say God is dealing with him in a negative way? He's punishing him. Certainly, that's a thought that many godly people have had, or many religious people have had, that if something's happening to you, it must mean that God is punishing you for something. You think of when Job's friends came to him, they just berate him with, come on, Job, stop holding back. Tell us what you did, and so we understand why you're suffering. You can't play the innocent card here. Even the disciples kind of got hit by that. Remember that when they came to ask Jesus about the blind man, they said, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And the important thing to understand then is when negative things happen, it's not, God doesn't look at that and vindictively say, all right, you're going to suffer blindness because you're a sinner. But we look at Jesus' answer. He says, neither this man nor his parents. He said, this happened so that the glory of God might be displayed in his life. So as with so many things, we look at what happens in our lives, and those things that are not necessarily good or that we outright would label as bad, we know that God will ultimately bend them for our good and his glory. And you hear that echoed in this psalm as well, in verse 19 and 20. Who, O God, is like you? Though you have made me see troubles many and bitter, you will restore my life again. From the depths of the earth, you will again bring me up. So you have even a little hint of that hope in the resurrection that David makes more clearly in other psalms. But he recognizes that even if God allows bad things to enter into our life, ultimately they will work for our good, and ultimately he will restore us. And that's the confidence that we have as those who are purchased with the blood of Christ, that God is our refuge and our strength, even into old age. So, without further ado, I'll just read through it. Again, there's a lot of common themes that we've seen David address throughout previous Psalms, so keep your eyes open for that, or rather your ears, I suppose. And maybe I'll have one or two thoughts more strike me as I read through it. Psalm 71. In you, O Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. Rescue me and deliver me in your righteousness. Turn your ear to me and save me. Be my rock of refuge to which I can always go. Give the command to save me, for you are my rock and my fortress. Deliver me, O my God, from the hand of the wicked, from the grasp of evil and cruel men. For you have been my hope, O sovereign Lord, my confidence since my youth. From birth I have relied on you. You brought me forth from my mother's womb. I will ever praise you. I have become like a portent to many, but you are my strong refuge. My mouth is filled with your praise, declaring your splendor all day long. Do not cast me away when I am old. Do not forsake me when my strength is gone. For my enemies speak against me. Those who wait to kill me conspire together. They say, God has forsaken him. Pursue him and seize him, for no one will rescue him. Be not far from me, O God. Come quickly, O my God, to help me. May my accusers perish in shame. May those who want to harm me be covered with scorn and disgrace. But as for me, I will always have hope. I will praise you more and more. My mouth will tell of your righteousness, of your salvation all day long, though I know not its measure. I will come and proclaim your mighty acts, O sovereign Lord. I will proclaim your righteousness, yours alone. Since my youth, O God, you have taught me, and to this day I declare your marvelous deeds. Even when I am old and gray, do not forsake me, O God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your might to all who are to come. Your righteousness reaches to the skies, O God, you who have done great things. Who, O God, is like you? Though you have made me see troubles, many and bitter, you will restore my life again. From the depths of the earth you will again bring me up. You will increase my honor and comfort me once again. I will praise you with the harp for your faithfulness, O my God. I will sing praise to you with the lyre, O Holy One of Israel. My lips will shout for joy when I sing praise to you, I whom you have redeemed. My tongue will tell of your righteous acts all day long, for those who wanted to harm me have been put to shame and confusion. I guess the two closing things that struck me reading it once more is verses 5 and 6, particularly 6, great passages to have in mind if anyone is, if you're ever in a conversation with those who might deny that a little baby can have faith, that a young child can believe. From birth I have relied on you. And whose work is that? At the end of the psalm, my tongue will tell of your righteous acts all day long, I whom you have redeemed. So all the glory is going to God. And then just that, as David looks back at the rest of his life, some think that these last few words were an add-on that David may have added as a closing prayer. Those who wanted to harm me have been put to shame and confusion. So he looks back on all of his life and says that God answered his prayer. Those who opposed him without reason, God dealt with them in his righteousness. That's all I have for you for Psalm 71. I'll see you again, hopefully, for Psalm 72.